It is too snowy, too cold, too gray to go anywhere else on a Saturday afternoon. Hi, this is TNFro, and I'm producing my podcast, Over 40 and Unapologetically Nerdy, because I have nowhere to go, and it's too cold to go there anyways. In this particular podcast, I will be discussing just space news, video games, and everything Star Trek. Discovery went off last week. The final episode was last week, and we won't be seeing any new episodes until later on, or the middle part of this year, 2021. And I hope you will contribute and have as much fun as I had creating this podcast on this dreary Saturday morning. And thank you for listening. So what's going on in the Nerdverse? I have had the privilege of enjoying probably one of the coolest weekends ever. I got off on Friday and just kind of piddled around, slept late on Saturday, then slept late again this morning. I was originally supposed to make this post yesterday, which was Saturday, January 17th, but I've since have been just kind of piddling around. But I have been most reflective. One of the most things I've been thinking about is the summer of 1992 when I got on a plane for the first time in my life. I was accepted, and by fluke, into the Space Life Sciences training program through NASA. And I didn't even know anything about it. And I look back at that time, and I don't know if I would have ever found out about it, because the advertisement, and it seems like from what I vaguely recall, it was like one of those multi-tier kind of advertisement. When I saw it, completely unearthed it, because it was underneath several a very unkept corkboard. I was astonished that nobody had applied, but that nobody would have thought that anybody in my department, which was biology, or even in chemistry, would have been interested in going to this program. It was I think a 12-week program. We basically lived at the Causeway Inn on the beach. We took classes in space physiology. I saw 2 launches and landings. I got to walk around on the launch pad. I got to see the eagle that was death because of how the thrust of the shuttle program when it did lift off. And I sit here and I daydream, and I still make sure that I continue to keep up with NASA news, even though NASA forgot about me and they would have never thought to try to do what they can to appeal to someone like me, someone that has the capability of thinking outside the box. You teach them something and they could just capitalize on it with just a little bit of direction. I'm one of those people that you're giving a hard task, but you're not given a clear way to get there. And sometimes you have to build your own road. And this was one of those times. I applied on a fluke. I got in. We got a stipend to kind of hang out on the beach for 8 weeks, for 8 to 12 weeks. It was amazing. That's when I found out about University of Florida. I applied to the medical school, and the rest is history. But with that said, the time that I actually had there was absolutely remarkable. I wish they had not been so short-sighted and they could not have capitalized on the wealth of talent and insight, and just being damn smart that all of us were in that particular class. I was the international space class, and there were so many people. I sit and I wonder not only about the American students, what they're doing now. Now that I'm getting ready to turn half a century old this year, I'm just really reflective on some of the things that I actually did when I was a kid, and I'm hopeful that I just didn't waste it all. I wasn't some 19-year-old jackass that piddled around, and why didn't I go further with it? I wish I had taken that can-do attitude and created a specific kind of residency for myself if I were told if I could have done it. It would have capitalized on my mechanical engineering, electrical engineering friends, and we could have actually had the first space life sciences residency through the University of Florida. Now that would have been cool as hell. I mean, why not? We were all right, the freak right in Florida. Space life sciences training was right down the damn road. They've moved it to California from what I understand. All the brains seem to be out at JPL and at SpaceX on the West Coast. But why not? And why couldn't we have capitalized on that? I don't know. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe I will go back and create that space life sciences training residency, specifically for the Artemis crew. The program itself should be a combination of engineering as well as life sciences. And I think I would be hopeful that the well of information would actually be, and in IT, all of them need to have that specifications. So I think it's all cool. And maybe take my daydreaming of the NGC 602, the small Magellanic Cloud will be a reality, as even though my big butt can't go out there, but some of the astronauts, I'll keep them healthy enough to be able to continue their work at the Jet Propulsion Lab, to cruise out several hundred light years to that star cluster, and just keep it moving. I think that would be pretty awesome. And I end all that because I am trying to go to sleep, actually. And it's trying to keep from going to sleep, because I know if I go to sleep now at 4:46 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon, I will not sleep well this evening. I had a great dinner. I take pride in the fact that one of the things that I've absolutely been focused on is the radishes. There is a Habitat 2 experiment that they have been that I've been actually been following for several podcasts, about a month or so now. And I ordered a bunch of radishes this past weekend from Whole Foods because I got paid on Friday. But nevertheless, I braised the tops, the greens, and it was actually pretty good. You just have to be careful that make sure that you wash it about 5 or 6 times because unbeknownst to me and to my chagrin, those greens are actually kind of dirty. It's okay. Just make sure that you wash and rewash and then wash again. And then to make sure, because radishes grow in dirt, they are a root vegetable, that you soak it in a little bit of salt. Coarse kosher salt works well, gives it a different dynamic too. And then you can braise it in olive oil. Make sure you don't overcook your garlic and the red peppers. Again, it gives it a pop of flavor. I did not, in the picture, I'll actually have to take a different picture of the side of the artichoke cilantro salad. But I did have some mac and cheese and my short ribs with from and some Champy's fried chicken. It's a lot of starch, but girl, it was good. I'm just saying. This also weekend, as I was sitting around in my PJs, I also am really starting to get into Breath of the Wild. Besides my usual Miss Pac-Man, this is the first game that I've actually picked up besides Animal Crossing and even Spiritfarer, that you just can't press buttons and expect to not die. It's one of those immersive storyline games that I found out about through other podcasts. Spiritfarer, they kind of say it helps you people deal with death. I don't know about that, but what this Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda, I didn't think myself into fantasy, but me busting the ogres in the head with a torch and then taking their club, to me that's the bomb. You got to be into it and be able to pay attention, because there is like a device that looks like my big ass iPhone 12 that you actually have to connect and to get your next adventure. It takes patience, but you got to do it. I mean, it's pretty cool. I would say so myself. If you have the chance to experience it, I would suggest navigating over to the Nintendo shop and downloading it today, because it is a way to disconnect, and you don't even have to be drunk to do it. It actually is probably one of the best things I actually have been able to enjoy. And you can actually follow me. It's a lot of silence, but you can also see me basically kind of falling off of the tower because it was very disconcerting using the joystick to change your perspective, because it allows you to look around. I would look around, and it took me a minute to find the steps and then the stairs and ladder to be able to climb down, and then to be able to jump. But the fighting and the picking up, foraging for acorns and paying attention to why am I flashing because I'm running out of energy, and then being able to eat the apples. Figuring out how to pick the damn apples and then eating the mugs. It's two completely different things. But that makes it fun and it makes it challenging, and it's more than just eating the pellets of Miss Pac-Man, Baby Pac-Man, and Super Pac-Man. More challenging. I'm going to try to get a little bit further in the next 24 hours if my patience will allow me, and when I take a break from.
Personal log, Michael Burnham. one of the last before I have the privilege of calling myself captain. I am beyond lucky, beyond grateful to be here right now, to be able to serve with this crew, this family, my new home. The burn took a toll across the galaxy, planets cut off from each other, loved ones separated, too many lives lost. But we finally had the answers we need. Now we can rebuild, reconnect, heal. I'm so proud to have been a part of that. And I can't wait to see what we accomplish moving forward. It's up to us, all of us, to leave the past behind, to step out of the darkness and into the light. And I believe we can do it. We are the Federation. And I believe that together, we can do anything.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Globetrotter. Our 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new shows and new video games, to boldly go where no woman with a fro has gone before. What I'm finding, or have found this past week, is I'm glad that they basically bookend Star Trek logs with the personal log of the newly promoted Captain Michael Burnham. As always, she exemplifies everything that you would think of from a Star Trek officer. Very intense. I like her smoky voice. She's just pretty amazing, and she's a real true believer, in spite of everything to the contrary, about the importance of finding out the source of the burn and the need for the Federation to rebuild itself. Because I think she's a firm believer that no one is going to be able to survive what is going forward if they're not united. There is power in unity, and she exemplifies that. She basically lives it and understands it to her bones, and her being OCD actually is a credit to her being an officer in Starfleet, because they need more like her. The beauty of, and just the creativity and the talent of the artists that contribute to either DeviantArt or Star Trek Online, which I haven't played in months, is just exemplified in the ships of Star Trek. One of the light and recurrent artists is David Metletsitz. He actually has created... Oh, this is so crazy, because there was a grant that NASA had actually given or promoted out, and I could not get access, or I couldn't go for one of the grants because I was never recognized as such. But he uses as a background the Earth to build one of his ships, Terok Nor. As far as DeviantArt, if you navigate to my blog, you'll be able to see some of his work in the full podcast notes, as well as there's another Denobus and the Big D, or Discovery, the art by Matt Boardman. Then there is the Regent class ship. You can actually utilize this particular ship as Star Trek Online, as well as an Akira class ship. Wow, these renderings are just absolutely amazing. And then there's a fight scene where the host of ships of Star Trek, they basically go into, they discuss the ships as characters, because they really are. The imagination of each one of these ships, the artist renderings, as well as all of the special effects and how they operate. Programmable matter is the bomb, and how now they in the 32nd century, how you can communicate and you don't have, you can, it's like a replicator, communicator, and transporter all in one in those new badges. And how they use programmable matter to also, instead of hitting a button, they basically fling the image when there's like a communication. All of the communication is like video and audio. It's pretty amazing. And just the concept itself. This last episode, after this last episode, I started rewatching the series again. I basically rewatched episode, I believe it's 7, Unification 3. It's after studying several black boxes, Burnham believes that she can find the source of the burn with the data from Project SB-19, a possible space travel alternative to dilithium, developed by the Vulcans and the Romulans at Navarre. They believe SB-19 caused the burn, but they don't want to give the data to the Federation, and they are mad at the Federation and left the Federation because they believe that they were forced into causing it. They could have been no further from the truth. The Federation uses Michael Burnham because she is Spock's sister, who Spock actually conceptualized the reunification of the Romulans and the Vulcans. Her mother, Gabrielle, who was previously trapped in the future but has since joined the badass nun order, warrior nuns, the Kuat Malat. She makes Burnham confront her own intentions and sense of confusion about her destiny, leading to Burnham withdrawing from the trial. Impressed by that, the president, Tarina, gives Burnham the data that she wants after making her work for it and making sure that she had true intentions. Then Tilly gets promoted to first officer, who's an ensign and a white girl and annoying. But she basically, it seems like she sells out Michael to make, if you would thought of her intentions as a little bit shady, she basically sells out Michael because she's setting herself up to become first officer. But it doesn't really matter. It just releases Michael to do what she actually has to do to gain her final position as captain, eventual captain of Discovery anyway. I always nerd out on, of course, the special effects exemplified, even though the storylines have been hokey. The relationship between Michael Burnham and Tilly and other members of the crew, I think, is palpable. I wish I could work with a team that I have that much trust in, and it's obvious that we all really like what we do. I don't have that as an option. I like what I do most days, even though I want to throat punch other people within the company, but that's neither here nor there. Also, the beauty of the relationship, even between Michael Burnham and her mother, Gabrielle, that's even palpable. And they also resemble each other, kind of. It's pretty uncanny. I also like the position of prominence of the pilot, who is also ex-Borg and female, and the Nigerian lady, Owasakun, that plays Owasakun, and Lieutenant Bryce, who's also an engineer and who's also black. This such represents the type of people that truly does represent people like me, that represent the entirety of the fan base for Star Trek Discovery and the Star Trek verse. And it really beguiles me that the people that rip up on Star Trek Discovery, what are actually their motives? Because they're not the typical skinny ass white girls that and white men that exemplifies what you would think as the quintessential Star Trek nerd. No, we're not. We come from all four corners of the globe, have our own thing, our own day jobs, and we are really into the Star Trek verse. It's not it's not as closed, and it's very inclusive. And for you to basically beat up on it because it doesn't show follow that whitewash storyline, that's shame on you. You're missing the whole point of a whole saga that you could actually get into and also promote. And it doesn't take away from money well spent. And people don't tune in to Star Trek for the storyline anyways. They just tune in for the cool details of the fight scenes and all of the beautiful backdrops and all of the technology. They don't really care about the storyline. So shame on you for ripping it apart because it doesn't follow your whitewash storyline and some exclusivity of nerddom. Just shame on you. They're not going to do that. They should not do that. And I'm so glad that we have another full season that's coming back in later on this year. So nerds to the nerds that can't lean into the diversity of this show because it's an amazing show. And that's how I'm going to end this episode of Over 40 and Unapologetically Nerdy. And I think you are as happy as I was. I'm hopeful that you're happy as I was in finding all of these details and researching all the NASA nerd news and eats. Please stroll to my blog to get the full podcast notes with links to all of the Instagram and my personal Instagram, tnfroisreading, to get what I last posted and ate, especially for Sunday dinner. And always, there's some people that still need a bag of gummy penises or a 1 foot long chocolate penis. Navigate to shipabagadicks.com/tnfro-got-jokes and get a percentage off of your order by using my promo code TNFro-got-jokes. I think you can get up to 10% off, and with every purchase, I get a commission. So do that for a sister. It's all about the hustle, right? I'm going to be hopefully podcasting or producing and posting another podcast, hopefully no later than Wednesday, where I'll actually nerd out on historical romance. I'll be able to get some more information about Queen Charlotte as I rewatch and I talk to the Widow Vaughn about Bridgerton. And I hope you guys have a great beginning of your week. Stay tuned for other tidbits about MLK, and just have a great day. Read what you like, do what you like, and make sure you feel good doing it and not hurting anybody else. And as always, have a great week, and thank you for listening.